Now, I think the White House and the president's reelection need to take this a bit more seriously than what they're doing. It was very easy for a long time for Democrats to just say, well, that's stuff on the crazy right-wing websites.
They could call it House Republican stuff, right?
Yeah, and now if it's going to be in trial, it's going to be front page news everywhere. I think they need to appreciate that this could damage him pretty seriously.
That was NBC's Meet the Press discussing news surrounding Hunter Biden, questioning whether this could damage the president pretty seriously. Campaign season for 2024 has begun, and even though Joe Biden is the favourite Democratic contender, his son's public problems could hinder his re-election. So much has happened with Hunter Biden in the last few months, but a huge loss for him happened late last month when his plea deal made with the Justice Department was turned down by the Delaware judge. Judge Mary Ellen Noretka said she can't accept the plea deal made, which would see Hunter plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and avoid a gun charge for lying on a form when he bought a firearm. Judge Noretka gave prosecutors a 30-day deadline to reach a new deal, and then the judge will determine her own punishment for the president's son. David Weiss, the man investigating Hunter Biden for tax crimes, potential money laundering and lying on the gun form, has now been given special counsel status by Attorney General Merrick Garland. With the investigation still ongoing, Attorney Weiss will now be able to recommend charges outside of his Delaware jurisdiction. This will be done with the aim that David Weiss has the full authority to conduct the investigation without interference. Now, that move comes after the Justice Department and Merrick Garland were accused of acting with political bias and giving Hunter Biden a sweetheart plea deal. An IRS whistleblower even alleged to Congress that David Weiss had claimed he was not the man to make the end conclusion on charges Hunter could receive, despite the fact that Merrick Garland had vowed under oath that the Delaware attorney had full authority. But with the Biden White House and Department of Justice under scrutiny for orchestrating a two-tiered system, the special counsel's status is welcomed, but there was questions why this is only happening now, given the probe into Hunter started in 2018. Late last week, the House Oversight Committee released their third bank memo detailing payments to the Bidens from Russia, Kazakhstan and Ukraine. This was in reference to the fact that Hunter Biden's former business partner, Devon Archer, described that during Joe Biden's vice presidency, his son sold the family brand around the world for millions of dollars from foreign oligarchs. Chairman of the committee, James Comer, said it's clear Joe Biden knew about his son's business dealings and allowed himself to be the brand sold to enrich the Biden family while he was the vice president of the United States. The committee summarised some of what they found from the bank records. It claims that the committee has now identified over $20 million in payments from foreign sources to the Biden family and business associates. The summary read, Hunter Biden received millions of dollars in payments from Yelena Baturina, Burisma Holdings and Keynes Rakashev. Vice President Biden had dinner with them in the spring of 2014 and 2015 in Washington, D.C. Texas Senator Ted Cruz weighed in on the news of these payments, saying if these are true, President Biden needs to be impeached and removed from office.
Hunter was the salesman, but the product was Joe Biden's personal favors, and that is, if true, corruption at the very highest level of government.
With all of this going on, Joe Biden still continues to claim that he has no knowledge of his son's overseas business deals, nor was he ever involved. But Devon Archer's testimony to Congress contradicts that claim. He told the House Oversight Committee that Joe Biden was either present in meetings with overseas business associates or dialed in on the phone at least 20 times. CNN's Jake Tapper asked Democrat Dan Goldman on Sunday whether the president now needs to stop saying his son has done nothing wrong.
Does the president need to stop publicly saying his son did nothing wrong?
Well, look, I think the president has been very clear that he's going to let the process play out. What we do know is that through all of the investigations in Congress, they're simply investigating a private citizen. Hunter Biden is not running for president, and Joe Biden is running for president, and he is the president, and yet, notwithstanding all of the time, effort, and all of the moving goalposts, there's no evidence connecting President Biden to any of his son's business dealings. And you can sing all you want and make all sorts of accusations, but the fact of the matter is that President Biden, there's been no evidence to show that he's been involved in anything.